Welcome. It's a pleasure to be before you today. Let me set up something. Hey, my name is Anthony Milton. Welcome to my live broadcast. Another, what I called, when I first began this series, I titled it The Pussification of the American Male. I started off by thinking it would be one, short, message. But then I thought thinking maybe I can branch off into other direction to make it more appealing by adding my hook, like a songwriter will put a hook behind, in a certain song, they add a hook. So every time certain verbs or certain passage down the line, they'll jump in and just say the hook. So vocation to me is to make news, to do something. It's an acting verb. And I just feel it's a good hook to the messages that I will bring forth. My topic of discussion today is what I'm titling the child support vacation. Child support vacation. Child support is when a man or a woman refuses to pay child support and they do whatever it takes not to pay child support. So I thought about it and I say, well, when we begin to share information with people, a lot of individuals don't like to hear things because they're saying, well, who are you to tell me what to do? And I'm not about to tell you what to do. I'm just giving you educational information for you to use, to go by, to apply it to your life. And then when you speak from your experience, then it has more of an impact when you're expressing yourself. And then the person who's listening, the person who's listening will kind of maybe believe you or take in what you're saying as the truth. So I'm coming from a point of my own experience because when I got divorced, I had to pay child support. In a way, I didn't like it, but I had to pay child support because they were my children. I didn't deny that they were my children. I knew I had to pay child support. My ex-wife and I went to the court system and we agreed that I don't get hit with the max rate, with a comfortable rate that I can live by. Even though I was paying child support, I felt weird when I was putting it in her hand because I just felt weird. So I decided to go through the court system and really I never noticed it out of my check after all these years. And finally, I'm no longer have to pay child support. And I recall a time when I met a young lady and she asked me about my life and I was sharing things about myself. And I told her that, yes, I was paying child support based on her question. She told me, well, you can't do nothing for me because you won't have any money. And that shocked me. And I said, what? And she was not interested in me. And I began to think, I said, you got a lot of guys out there that I have spoken to, that I know will do whatever it takes not to pay child support. They will deny it's their child. They will say that, she's trying to trap me because she was in a relationship with somebody else. Before I really didn't have sex with her. We didn't have sex that particular month. They do whatever it takes. They'll work off the table, under the table, across the table, off the books just to keep from paying child support. And it is sad because it's a push button topic for me that I had to go through the court system and pay child support. Then why are these other guys should get off by not paying child support? And what I mean by getting off, some females will allow the man to get off the hook, because for whatever reason. And some men, like I mentioned, will go to jail, deny it's their child, abandon a child, and refuse to acknowledge that it's their children. They will do whatever it takes to say that it's not theirs. They did not impregnate that woman. And then they will leave the woman behind, go to somebody else, make up some lie that, the woman, they're trying to trap them. They couldn't deal with this stuff. and they just left them because they wasn't going to pay child support. And the women who they're talking to will believe the lie, fall for the lie, sleep and have a sexual relationship with the man, get impregnated by the man. Then she finally realized that what she heard through the grapevine was the truth. And the man do the same thing over and over again. He runs to another one, perpetual cycle of impregnating women and say, I'm a man. Is a man defined by how many abandoned children he have left behind? Is a man when he refused to take care of his responsibility? Is a man when he can go out on the street corner and sell drugs or do whatever it takes not to go through the regular system to earn a salary, and then at the same time, depend on the age of the child, see the child down the street passing by, don't even acknowledge that that's their child, and the child may have been told by their mother that that is their father. Do they have compassionate feelings? They say, you know what, I'm doing something wrong? No, it's all about them. It's all about how it's going to hurt me, how it's going to hurt my pocket. They was not thinking that when they lied to the woman, deceived the woman, convinced the woman that they loved them, and the woman by choice believed them, accepted the lie, and then another child is into the world. It shames, we should have pride, men should have pride that when they are out there engaging in multiple sexual relationship, getting women pregnant 2 and 3 times back to back, and they say, I'm a man, you're right, that's my boy there, but they're not, that's my girl there. I'm proud, but they are not taking care of they're not taking care of their responsibility for the child. They're doing whatever it takes not to take responsibility. And I also blame the female, because when a man comes to you, you should ask a lot of questions. Don't go by how he look, what kind of car he drive, what he can do for you, do your nails, do your hair, or whatever. Begin to ask serious questions if you don't know anything about him, and find out, do we have children in his past? And look him in the eye and feel that he's telling her the truth. When in doubt, investigate. Don't believe what he's saying. And then when you find out that he's lying to you, or he has children and not taking care of his responsibility, then you should just simply say, you're not for me. I cannot, you should say, I cannot date a man who refused to take care of his responsibility, because if I continue to date you, then guess what's going to happen? If she get pregnant for him, there's no doubt that he going to do the same thing to her. I can hear people say, well, I love him, I love her, we can use protection, she won't get pregnant, I won't get pregnant, whatever the case may be. But when you buy condom, men or females, on the packet says 99% effective. God showed me a long time ago that it's the 1% that will get you. You can have all the birth control pill or be using all the contraception to keep you from getting pregnant, but there's a spiritual law that if we don't abide by the law, then that 1% will produce a child, whether you like it or not. You can't control that 1% that you have no power and authority when it should fall upon you. Some men convince females to maybe abort the child because they may be married and they don't want their wife to find out about it. Or they may say it's going to mess up their football or sports career or job status, or, if they're a mixed couple or a white individual dating a black female or vice versa. They don't want to bring that child into the world because to them it's a shame. Excuse me. So what do? They run away from their responsibility, leaving the female, they're leaving the female behind to take care of, support the child emotionally, mentally, and physically. Men and women need to know that you have responsibilities. If you being a man and you being a female, If you realize that that man is no good for you, keep your dress on and your underwear's up. You men who are out there feeling that you can get a notch in your gun on how many women you can conquer in a lifetime. If you do not consider that if you have unprotected sex, safe sex, or whatever you call safe sex, and a baby is born into the world, you are responsible for it. And if you run away and move out of another state, you are not exempted from paying your child support. You can hide, work under the table, work off the table, work behind the table, do whatever you are doing to avoid paying child support. You will reap what you sow. And if you are not married and you meet a man or vice versa, who do not want to wait until you are married before you engage in any kind of before you engage into a sexual relationship, then you should simply say, no, this is not for me. Yes, your emotional feelings, sexual desire may be at its peak, and you feel, I gotta have, I'm dating you. I'm not a person to date anyone. I don't date anyone if I can't kiss you or have sex with you, because I want to know how you put out in case we might get married. But do you ever throw in the boat that, yeah, if you have a relationship with that man, then you may get a venereal disease, you may get AIDS, or something may happen to you. You may be the one that created, or they discover a new disease that there's no kind of penicillin or no thing can take care of you. So then we have some females who are vengeful, who want the man to pay, want to squeeze every drop of money out of his pocket. They're money hungry grubbers that just want that money, and they do whatever it takes. They may have a lawful child support order, and then when they find out that he got a promotion, he got a job, he moved to another state, he got a fancy car, he living in a house, he got a new girlfriend, they're about to get married, then she see dollar signs and she runs back to the courthouse to file for a revisiting of the case. And sometimes the court will side with the woman and raise the money. And don't think if he's paying alimony, then he's going to pay alimony and child support, squeezing him because they are vengeful. They are vengeful. When it comes to child support, no parent should be vengeful toward the other to try to squeeze every dime out of the individual. And I have met men who have custodies of their children because their girlfriend or wife have an alcoholic problem. They ran away and left them with the kids for another man. They may be using illegal drugs, and they won't have nothing to do with the children, and they just abandon the children. So the father is raising the children, maybe for mental reason. A woman is in prison, and they just go and they take care of their children. I admire a man that take care of his responsibilities, but any male who refuses to take care of his children will reap the consequences of his action. Like I say, he will lose money down the line somewhere. He may feel that every check I earn, every dollar I earn, I keep losing it. Do he say 1 + 1 is 2 because I abandoned my responsibility and I have not taken care of it? And so that's why I'm losing it. So those men who run to another state and hiding out, you will be caught eventually. And then if the woman decides to take you to court, you might have to pay what they call in arrears. You may have to pay back alimony. You may have to pay back child support. You may have to pay a lot of money that you did not want to pay. Hello, my sister, Patricia Ann. Nice to see you. So any man who leaves his girlfriend or wife because they don't want to take the responsibility for paying child support, to me, is not a man. We all say, I'm a man. What defines a man? Because you have a male organ and you have a male body? That's the only thing say you are male. but does your actions define that you're a male? Think of it. So when a man runs off to another state and refuses to pay child support and he goes into hiding, it's a selfish individual that have allowed himself to be captured by his thinking, not with top of his head, but if you can read between the lines, he's thinking with his other head that's not on his shoulder. He's being driven by his desires. So females, if you don't want to face the lack of child support for your child, keep your leg crossed and say no. He may be what you call a fine brother. Nice car, pretty smile, pretty hair, pretty skin, nice car, whatever you can think of that makes you feel good. He may come to you and lie to you and, use the play, what I call it, player handbook, chapter 5, subtitle 2, just to convince you, to make you that you're the one for him. And you fall for it because you may have had a bad experience with other men in the past, and this is the one for you. So you feel if you get pregnant for him, then you will keep him. He will stay with you. But my sister, he will not stay with you, because if you check his past, like I mentioned, you may find out that he have done this with other women. I recall watching a TV show, a news, where they had this brother on the TV. He was so proud that he has so many kids. I think 10 or 15 kids from other baby mamas. And my question was, how can he say he's a man? And he says other baby mama. And I thought about it, that some of these females had to know his history, especially if he was doing it in the same town. And these females believe what this person said, because he may have given them a little bit of money for to do their nails, do their hair, pay their light bill, pay their rent, pay their cable bill, give them a flat screen TV, pay their cell phone bill, just giving them money to pacify them. I give you a little bit of money on the side. I'm still married, but I give you a little money on the side. I could come over, sleep with you, spend the night, because at home, that woman at home just driving me crazy, about to pull my hair out. Let me come over, babe. And she fall for it because she may don't have a job. She may need the money. So she agreed to his offer. And then when she get pregnant, then she see another Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde man that she allowed herself to be pregnant from. So females, how can you get pregnant from a man that has left children behind? We're living in a society where they have multiple females down to the age, I'm just guessing, 14, 15, 16. Before they're 18 years old, they have multiple children from different babies, baby mama drama, and baby from different fathers. And then when they meet a man, he don't want to be involved with them, because he be saying, wow, I got to take care of 5 children. That's not me. They're not my children. So yes, the female is out there in the street living in a household with 5 or 6 or more children because no man wants her. It's her fault also. Yes, they both got together and engaged in the sexual relationship. They had multiple children, and then he leaves her. She should say no, and he should say no. And most men is not going to say no if a woman decide to sleep with them sexually. They will grab the opportunity with a blink of a hat, the turn of a light switch, because they look at it as another notch in their gun, if you can read between the lines. These women and men are both responsible. They should not put themselves in a compromising position, being alone with someone, going to someone's house. They should be more careful when they meet a man or woman. Women should be very, very careful when they meet a man, regardless of what he has or what he possesses, because he can take the ring off his finger and say, I separate from my wife. And then he threw out the bait and you bite the worm, and then you all get involved, and then you get pregnant, and then he leaves you. He leaves you. So you should be careful and withhold sex. I love you. I care about you. I want to get to know you, but I'm not the kind of person to be involved with you sexually at this moment, because I don't know what direction it's going to head. And then what happens, he either stays or goes. I remember meeting back in the day, I consider, you know, I was a hound dog. I slept around, but I got older, and I thank God that he watched over me to allow me to be here today, to sit before you to share my testimony. And I remember when I got to be where I'm at today, I met this nice young lady, you know, and I had met many women in the past that I could have a sexual relationship with, but I refused to, even though I wanted it. But I remember that I've been there, done that. And so to have a sexual relationship with a woman is like going to the local grocery store, buying something off the shelf because I'm hungry, feed myself and throw it away and say I'm full and leave the person alone. So when I met this particular person, you know, when you meet two people, they ask you your name, your age, you know, where you're from, you know, what's your belief in, yada, yada, yada kind of stuff. And she asked me a certain question, said, I can see you a Christian or something. I didn't have a Christian cross on or anything like that. She just felt there's something different about me. So I said, I'm interested in you. I want to get to know you. I don't want to have a sexual relationship with you. I just want to get to know you and spend time with you. We can do things together. And she said, oh, I admire a man that thinks this way. I heard of it. I never experienced it myself. I think it'd be interesting to date someone like you. I said, sure, fine. Then a few days later, she threw up a little few temptations with conversation. And I said, no, what did I tell you? And she said, well, I'm a woman. I like to express myself, the whole hand, the whole kiss, to have a sexual relationship. I said, what if I'm not for you? What if I get you pregnant? What if you have a disease? What if I have a disease? You know, what if we do engage in a sexual relationship? What if nothing happens between us and you go your way and I go my way? And she said, yeah, but because I resist her temptation, she went the other way. So I wrote something titled, I don't want to hurt you. So my thing was, what did she tell me when she walked away? She liked my stand. She enjoyed what I said. She said she would tolerate it, but she couldn't tolerate it because I told her I don't want to hurt you if I'm not the one for you, if we do all these things that you want. So in essence, she was telling me when she left to go find someone else, she wants to find a man that will hurt her in the ways that I refuse not to hurt her. So I thought that was interesting. So fathers and mothers, be reasonable when it comes to child support. Don't squeeze the lemon and try to squeeze every drop. If you see that the father is doing the best he can to provide for the child based on the job he has, then you go out there and get a job too. Don't say, well, I'm going to squeeze more money by going through the court and then sit home and not do nothing. Or even if you take in the bulk of the money and paying rent and light and phone and whatever, that's stuff. That's okay. You're providing for your child. But if you take the bulk of the money and get your nails and hair done and then give your child a few crumbs, you know, with a little clothes and a little this and that, and then blame the father and say he's not giving you enough money. But in real world, he may be giving you enough money. It's what you're doing with the money. And one thing I learned when it comes to child support in the court system, they don't tell the father has no control over what the parent who's receiving the money do with the money. So she can take half of the money and spend it on whatever she wants and claim that it's not enough and get more from her boyfriend or ex-husband. So it needs to be considered that when males continue to impregnate and get women pregnant and they run off and they hide in another state and refuse to take care of their child, this is an ongoing cycle, on and on and on and on, an ongoing cycle. Welcome, Stephen. This is the Stephen. I think it's Stephen Weaving. So this is for those of you who have joined, I'm talking about child support as it pertains to men and women. It can be a touchy subject, so you can watch the video. I will upload it. You'll see it on Facebook and I upload it to YouTube. So it can be because I'm speaking from my own experience to tell men out there that when they go around pregnating women and going to another, leaving all these baby mama drama all behind, they have not escaped the consequences of their act. Even if the court system can't find them, they're going to reap the consequences of their action, because guess what? There's a spiritual law, spiritual police that say you're going to reap what you sow. You can say, I'm an atheist, I don't believe in God, I don't believe God like you know him, but that's maybe your belief. But I'm telling you, there's a spiritual law out there that says you're going to reap what you sow. So men need to begin to wake up. And I'm not condemning anyone because I paid child support. It's over with. I said, thank you. You know, I got extra money in my pocket. I'm not condemning anyone. I would have liked to heard this kind of message in the churches. You really don't hear messages in the churches about lifestyle and habits and the do's and don't. Hey, God going to send your wife or husband or Lexus or car and give me more money and I get more than you. But when it comes down to individual lifestyle that goes against the word of God, and the pastor or the minister, you know, knows about it, then it's not preached on. It's sent a mixed message. I'm quite sure in the sound of my voice, there are people that will go into church on any given Wednesday, Thursday, or whenever they come together with their girlfriend and they're still married or they're separated, and the woman may be pregnant, everybody looking, and the minister know that this is not his wife, and he allows it to come into the church. Then it's like a seed. Then everybody else going to start doing things because it's not taught and not spoken against. So you have a cycle that's repeated over and over and over. And this brother or someone says, I'm a man because I got 15 kids out there, like I mentioned when I saw on the news, proud that he got all these children. And even if he paying for all these children and then go around and get more children and more children, how can he devote his quality time to each children? Each of them will have a percentage of his time. He may, it's like justifying sin. Why would you justify your behavior? He should be shamed when he look in the mirror, knowing that he impregnated 15 women that have different baby mama, and he's proud that he done this. And then the woman who lay down and slept with him should be ashamed of herself in the morning when she wakes up, knowing that so-and-so down the street has a child from the same man that she's pregnant from. So it's an ongoing cycle of over and over and over and over and over. Men do not want to take care of their responsibilities as they should. And women, and I heard and I met individual where a woman is paying child support to the man. And maybe because the woman is not mentally fit or alcoholic or got some drug issue or mental problem, and she just don't want to deal with the children anymore. So therefore she stays and she goes and she pays child support based on agreement that she and her the father have. So when they abandon their children and they go the other way, they have not escaped because they are not following the order. And this is what I thought when I was putting this together. I was thinking that when a man leaves his child behind, the government has become the father of his child. And you and I know that the more children a woman have, the more money she receives from the government. So the government has become her husband, kind of speaking. The government has set down rules that she must abide by. The government will give her a house or apartment and pay her rent and give her rules that she must abide by: medical insurance, dental insurance, eyeglass insurance, all the things that a male should, her husband or her boyfriend or the person who abandoned her should be doing himself. So the government has become the father of all those children that he had left behind. And he may give her a few crumbs, give her a few money off the side for tennis shoes or whatever, to shut her up, to keep her from going to court. To take him to court is still wrong. So the government has become the child father. And the government say, you go in any project. Majority of the project don't have men in the project. 100% of females lives in the low income housing area. They are being subsidized by the government, giving them money for rent and electric and whatever, because the knucklehead brother or race of males abandoned that woman, and she had nothing else to do. She didn't have a job. She may still be in high school. She may don't have a mother and father herself. She may be following the same cycle that her mother and her mother and her mother, generational child abandonment, generational non-paying child support individuals. So the government set up all these rules for the woman and say, you can't have a car, you can't have this, you can't have that. If they were really enforcing their laws, every low-income housing area would not have these expensive cars in the community, on the property. And then the knucklehead, yeah, I'm gonna call you knucklehead, or someone that's not thinking with his head on the top of his head, he's thinking with his other head, his emotional. He drives up knowing that the government is paying all of this woman expensive, move in, stay during the day and leave at night, or vice versa, and the apartment manager don't enforce the rules. So he's living off the woman supporting him. So he goes out, and if he don't have a job, he sells a few drugs to come back to subsidize, to give her a little bit of money to shut her up, and he avoid his responsibility. So the government has become the father of his child or someone else's child. He moves in with the woman who's not his baby mama, and he take care of another man's child, and then go out around the corner because his wife or girlfriend not putting out, as he call it, get another woman pregnant because she believed the lie that it's not his child, or he don't want to be dealing with this mess, or he want to be married, she don't want to be married. You know the lies that the brothers use or people use. And then the woman get pregnant and he runs away in the ongoing cycle. So the government has become the daddy, the government has become the father of his child. So in order for the woman to really want the relationship back with her baby daddy, she will have to say, is he working? No. Do he have a job? Any kind of job? No. Is he selling drugs? Yes. Is he selling or alcoholic problem? Yes. Where's he living? With his homeboys. So I can't date him or go back to him because he can't do nothing for me. So she stays on government assistance for X amount of years. I'm not against government assistance. Some people get on government assistance for various reasons because they have to. But it should not be on government assistance to a point where it limits your capability to excel, to grow, to bring forth a family. So being till the government has become the baby daddy, and the government decide when, where, who, what, and why, how this child should be treated. And the father who ran off has no control, no authority, no say-so as what should happen to his child. And yet some men are on the corner as I speak, has abandoned their child. They may see their child ride by with the mama, and they may wave or they may not wave, and that's all they do. That's all the support they do. Wave and say, that's my boy or that's my girl. So the government has replaced the men proper position. And when the government set down rules that limits the woman capability, or if she wants to leave, she will have to compare, I lose my apartment, I lose the medical, dental, eyeglass, food stamps, checks. I got 4 kids, I'm gonna just save $1,000 and all this stuff for a knucklehead that selling drugs are not really working, staying with his homie, and yet he wants me to believe the lie that if I allow him to come back into my government, my other baby daddy father house, and he's sitting there sleeping because he's drunk or smoke a little herbs that night, and she gets up and go to work, Because if you think about it, a lot of women that I know that live in the low income houses, they work. They have 2 and 3 jobs. I admire a black woman or any woman who has a child who has been abandoned by their father, that will go out and do whatever it takes to put a roof on their head. I'm not talking about if the woman get pregnant for the husband or boyfriend and she concealed it and never told him. That's a different story. Because my thing, when a woman had done that, the truth will be revealed. Who is she going to blame? The man? No, she has control over that situation. I'm not saying that if the man do not know that he impregnated this woman and he has a child out there and he did not take care, he didn't know. He had not been given the opportunity to say, you know what, either I'm going to stay or I'm going to go. And some guys will go, but at least give him the opportunity to withhold information from the man because of, whatever reason is wrong. Both parties is responsible for their child. And I thought about it, I said, I never looked at it that way. The government has become the daddy, the baby daddy of all these children that this woman have gotten, all these children this woman had conceived. She may have dated 5 guys and have 5 baby daddies. The government has become the baby daddy to all of those children and gave her a list of rules that she must follow. And then when she finally meet a man that wants her because he's a man and he's a moral individual, he said, baby, I know these are not my children. I will love them like my own, because maybe I could not have them, but I will love them like my own because it's the Christian thing to do. I want to do the best that I can for you. If she meets a man like that, he got a good paying job, he living in his own house, he has a car, and she see that he can provide for her and her children, then she can say, you know what? I'm going to get a divorce from this husband because this husband is not good for me. This husband has enslaved me to a mental, emotional, and physical bondage that even I, as a woman, cannot go any higher. So she divorced her government husband and began to say, you know what? I want my children to be raised up in a home with a 2-parent. And the problem we have today in society, we have too many single mothers who the government has become their fathers. And the natural father is out there perpetuating, impregnating. And yes, it takes 2 to sleep around. The woman believes the lie. And then she's faced with, I want child support. So she don't get child support, and she justify, she let him off the hook for whatever reason. And then the government has become her children's daddy. So it's not daddy so-and-so, it's mama, daddy. No, mama, government is the daddy. So what is your father's name, child? The government. Well, how can your father be the government? My father is the government. Picture a bunch of kids in the school. What's your dad's name? The government. The government. The government. Is the government A, B, C, and D? So things has been set up in society to destroy the family. But when we don't ask why and we don't do our own history, history have a tendency to repeat itself. It does. So the government has become the baby daddy of those knuckleheads who have abandoned their responsibility, and yet at the same time, and I know inside of my voice right now, there's some man walking or knocking on the door, sleeping with another woman, getting her pregnant and going to eventually leave. There's some men that's knocking on the door in a low income housing, just ride through any local income housing area and you see all these cars. But then the rule of the government daddy is saying that you can't have a car up to a certain or dollar amount. I think it was, I don't know. Because I remember when I had moved to California and didn't have a job. I really didn't have a job. I was looking for a job. And one of the persons I say, well, let me see if I can get some kind of assistant. So I fought my pride and I stood in line on one of these assistant places in California to get some kind of assistant. So the person behind me was saying, you know how you can get assistant? Say this and say that. But what they was telling me to lie. If I had lied to the person at the front desk, I would have gotten a government check for a certain amount of time because I didn't have a job and I needed a job to pay my car note. And I filled out the form, and as they went down the form, they said, well, you have a car. You paying this on the car. You can't have this car. You have to sell the car and get rid of it. I said, if I sell the car, how would I get around to look for work? It didn't make sense to me. So when I look at the list of rules that they was telling me I must abide by, it actually put me in a mental camp of enslavement that I'll have to say, okay, it's the first of the month. Here's my government check. Okay, I'm going to stand in line for medical, dinner, and so and so. But people tend to forget who's paying for that. So you have the government as the father of these children that the knuckleheads left behind. And you have the legitimate husband and wives and multiple races paying into the government system. So you have people, your next door neighbor will be paying for somebody, your next door neighbor or your friend or any given community. You have people that's working 9 to 5. They're putting money into the state system, into the government till, and then the government take the honest taxpayer, hardworking people money to pay for their abandoned responsibilities. You got the child who the government has become their daddy. You have the mother been given rules by her now new husband, which is the government. You have the next door neighbor or friends and family members who honestly working to pay their bills, pay into the government system. So the government takes their money, give it to the mother, then the mother spend it on the child. And guess who's not even touched? The knucklehead person who left because he decided that I'm going to work off the books. I'm going to work under the table. I'm going to work and not tell them I'm making this much money because people are going to pat me on the back and watch my shoulder and lie for me. So that person is not physically touched, but he has not escaped his consequences. He has not. So I hope that this message will be an enlightenment, a new understanding, men and women. If you don't want to experience any problems getting child support for the knucklehead who abandoned you, keep your leg crossed, the dress down, and the underwear's up. And men, you should really, really think if you had left women behind that you are not taking care of your responsibilities, you either go and get operation or keep your zipper up and begin to think with this and not with the other, if you get my drift. And both of you, if you don't want your child to have another baby daddy, which is a government, and that the woman has, technically speaking, become married to, have been given rules that she must follow, that will put her in a position that she will have to face, should I leave my new husband, my new baby daddy, for someone who's not working? It's not worth it. So guess what we have? Housing, low-income housing springing up all over the place. And then you have the knuckleheads debating who he going to lie to, who he going to deceive, who he going to seduce. And if she believed the lie, then she allowed him to move into the house under the table, not telling anyone, knowing his past history. He give her a few crumbs to shut up, pay for nails, pay for her hair, pay her light bill, pay her cell phone bill, give her a little bit of grocery money, give her gas, and just, and he's not really involved in another man's child. That's not my child. He won't listen to me. She won't listen to me. That's your responsibility. So begin to think. Seriously think. I thank all of you. I say, Stephen Weaver, my sister, I have a message that I was working on tomorrow. I wasn't planning on giving another message till next Sunday. And someone asked me about Martin Luther King Day. And actually, I forgot. I'm probably not the only one. And I thought about it. And I always remember his speech about I have a dream. And I always thought that one day I will give a speech. I don't know, not like his or just when I was a child, little. I think I was in my teens, still in high school, junior high. And I thought I'd be giving a speech. And then I thought about, I have a dream too. So guess what? I wrote my own version of I have a dream too. It's very good. It's interesting. It makes you think. And I often wonder, do we need to hear a new message? Nothing wrong with the other message, but we live in a new time. We see what has happened over the years. We see the spiraling down of society in all races. Do we need a new speech from anyone to have a dream? So I have a dream too, and you too have a dream. So if you like what you heard tonight, share it with your friends, make a comment, and God willing, I'll be back tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern time, with what I feel is a good message. And I did share it with someone, and it was at all that it was that good because I did not sit down and write a bunch of notes. And then from my notes, I just picked this and that. I just wrote it as I was thinking. And they said, Anthony, you need to put that on paper and put it on your website or give it to people who want a copy of it if they like it. So I will be talking about that more tomorrow. So thank you, those of you who have joined me. Share, make a comment, let your friends know, let them have the opportunity to hear what you said. For those of you who will listen to this message in the future, I hope that it will cause you to think about your activity. If you are one of these father knuckleheads who have abandoned your responsibilities and have not done anything until you heard this message, it's not too late to repent. It's not too late to make up for. You can't make up for the loss, but you can provide whatever assistance you can. If you have to go to the court to give it, if you have to give it to her and she accepts it, then do your part. Don't walk around the street saying that you are a man and you represent a male, and the only thing they find you is the top of your head and what is between your leg that makes you a male. Thank you and have a nice night.